It's gonna be a little quick show, dope show, dope show, dope. Check out my new Ripple flavor. Shout out to little boy Lensky, the captain of the ship. Amore, Ripple, strawberry flavor. Please go on cop, go on support love. Show love to those who show love to the king. Hello. We outside today. You know, I'm about to head out real quick, but I want to touch on a couple of things. I think this whole week I'm going to talk about certain things that people don't want to talk about. But we're going to let the music rock out for like 10 minutes. And we're going to bring that smoke. Come on. Hello. Bring that smoke, get people in the room, turn the lights up as you come in the room, say hello. This is your favorite king of all kings. It's Conversation with Kings, and this show is gonna be very informative. I got the Uncle Rico. Uncle Rico coming in. Good luck, good luck, good luck. I appreciate that, little Bolensky. Any compliment from you means a lot to me, huh? Let's turn the lights up. Do me a favor too. Invite all your friends, tell all your ladies, tell all your men's, not men, but your men's, to come and support the show. I might break a couple of hearts today, but it's okay. I'm just here to tell the truth. And I'm not throwing any shots at anybody. And if I am, so what? The truth is the truth, huh? Frosty, what's up, baby? Alex aka Frosty, please go support that man, a traveling man, part of the Passport Bro community. Today, don't feel free to come up. Please post up the link. Feel free to come up because you have a lot of wisdom, brother. I definitely want to hear you out. And my show, we jam out a little bit. Let's get the vibe right. And then we have these real conversations. Huh. Yes. Support my book, Love and Life Through the Eyes of Travel. For all the world travelers, all the lovers, all the romantic people out there that believe in love. Hello. Talk to me nice. Ripple. Yeah, we were sponsored way before everything. Before we were monetized, we were sponsored. Support their new flavor, more. Hello. Strawberry flavor. Hit me up later. No nicotine, no THC. I don't smoke weed. I don't smoke cigarettes. But I like that aesthetics. Yes, I am. Yes, you got Rico too. Rico on the cut. We come bring Rico up in a few minutes. What we want to do is make sure we play the right music for everybody to get set the mood. Shout out to Rico. Rico, I see you outside. God bless him. Brooklyn in the house. Talk to me nice. Hey. Conversation with King. This is Conversation with King on a Monday night, and we are here today. Please be aware that this show, and I repeat, this show, it might be highly sensitive to a lot of people, but if the shoe fits, please wear it. We are not talking about anybody in particular, and if I am, so what? But we're not going to do that today. Today is going to be a show that's really based on providing solutions and education, as well as comic relief for real life issues in regards to relationships and marriages. This weekend was a great weekend for me. But before we start the show, I want to leave Rico downstairs, downstairs. I say downstairs in the basement of the penthouse, because I want to address one thing. Anything I say right now has nothing to do with Rico, but let me address one thing. To all those people that lurk within the Black content creator space and wants to create spoofs or videos about me, cool. All I ask for you to do, please, is tell the truth, because you don't want me to start telling the truth. I tell the truth and focus on the truth. There's no one that I went against on YouTube that I never provided receipts. That I never provided receipts. And I didn't provide receipts because I felt sorry for you. Trust and believe. But so whoever's making these videos about me and comment on men parts and stuff like that, please watch the whole show and stop trying to fake a narrative, because that's not wise. Because if I remember correctly, you really left conversation with King because I talked about you, and you banned yourself, and you always had something against me. Always, but it's all right. I'm going to give you a pass this time. I'm going to give you the grace this time, because I'm tired of exposing young black men and young black women, because everybody I expose, they're not the same. Trust me, they're not the same. They might be they could front in front of the screen in front of you, but their personal lives is crazy. And I don't want to go on this path of keep on dissing people that diss me, because I'm 42. I'm bigger than this. I really don't have to go back and forth with these people, because their real life is not what it says. It's not what it really is. Trust me. Don't let the views and subscribers fool you. If you talk about real life, then you're not talking about their life. So once again, Arshawn, relax. I'm not on that Biggie thing. I'm on Tupac. Say your name, Arshawn. Relax. I don't want any problems with you. I don't know why you made that video for. Whatever it is, please relax. I do not want to go back and forth with you. It doesn't benefit me. Just relax. Also, E Black, relax. I said your name. You happy now? Relax. I don't want to go back and forth with you, because at the end of the day, E Black, I'm still waiting for the receipts of the defendants that you said have something. You said 3 defendants. We know you're a liar, and we know you stand for very little. That's it. Everybody else, all the ladies that I talked about, I'm giving y'all grace, because we know what happened behind the scenes when people make false reports to authorities. Now they're looking at you crazy. Just leave it alone. Let's move forward with life. Do what you need to do. Talk about the Kevin Samuels. Talk about everything else. Just leave me alone. Because at the end of the day, if I start talking about racism and I start talking about acting careers, then it's an issue. So please leave me alone. That's it. Everybody else, I'm living my life. I'm minding my business. I'm putting up good content. Just leave me alone, because next time y'all keep on saying my name, I'm gonna release my content about you guys. And when I start going, it gets really funny and comical, and then y'all don't like it. Because I don't promote violence, but I will clown the hell out of you. Matter of fact, you're doing a good job by yourselves. So leave me alone. Please. Y'all got enough of y'all plate right now. Mr. Real Estate is smoking y'all. He's killing y'all. He's killing y'all. And I'm taking a break. And my 1,400 guaranteed subscribers are not leaving me. That's all I need. Believe that. Believe that. So let's get that very clear. Remember, I want to align myself with people that's doing great things. I don't want any problems. So I'm saying it one more time publicly. And you can't take this sound bite and make it anything else and give it to people, authorities. I'm making it publicly. Leave me alone, or I'm going to tell my truth. And when I tell my truth, you're gonna be joked on. Just like the guy that owed me $60. Just like the person that was doing certain things in their relationships. Just like people that can't act. Just like people who are racist. Just like people who don't love their significant other. Leave me alone. Sean, you too big to box with God. Relax. Anyway, with that being said, I want to say I got that out of my chest. I don't want any more problems. Turn the lights up, and without further ado, we are going to bring Rico. Rico!
Good evening, sir. Good evening. Can you see me clearly?
No, it's like because the light.
Dark?
You see the beautiful background. Yeah, you look
dark.
dark.
I know. Let me turn around. Then. That's what I kind of figured. Okay, how's that? That's better?
Yeah, you're a handsome guy, but I love the background, the back.
Oh, okay. I'm just out here trying to enjoy some of this nice weather now that we
Right,
got it. And yeah,
right,
I don't get tired of looking at me either. But I'm
right.
glad you got that out the way.
I got because I want to make it clear. Like, listen,
Yeah.
I don't want to go back and forth. This is stupid. It's just crazy. I entertain it. You see, I fell back. But I'm telling them, if you come at me, what I do, I don't come at you when you come at me. I keep on letting it slide. I let it slide, and then when I go,
Right.
it's
And
gonna be
I
bad.
understand, but I don't even know what you're even talking about. So
Right?
clearly, I'm like,
No,
I
no.
don't
There
know
was
what the hell you even talking about.
there
But
was a there was a clip that
don't explain it. Don't explain.
oh,
I ain't seen it. I don't need to see it. I
all
don't
right,
even know.
sorry.
I like the position that you say you're taking.
Right.
That's the better position.
Thank you.
And if we all do that, we all be better off.
That's
Say,
it.
okay,
I
we're
don't
done
want
with it.
right, and
I'm here to talk about the topic.
right, and I don't. What I don't do is I'm not part of the LGBTQIA plus community, but I have love and respect for them.
I always say I'm an ally, so I
Yeah,
mean, they done probably been me.
I have love and respect for that
Yeah,
community.
yeah,
However, I'm not part of that community.
right.
So
I'm
when you
not
try to
either.
so
But it's that,
when you
right,
try to put me in that community, right? That means you're trying to diminish my sexuality, and that's not funny. Because when I start coming at you, people are gonna laugh at you, and they're gonna have names about you, and they're gonna joke on you. That's why I said, just leave it alone, please, please,
no,
please. Let's leave me alone. That's it. And I said it just like Rico says. Don't talk about his wife. That's it. Then when you talk about his wife, and then he comes back at you, who you gonna be mad at?
I ain't talk about yours, so don't talk
Right.
about mine.
Right. Don't talk about his wife. Don't talk. If certain people tell you certain things not to do, don't do. And my fault. I was associated with a young man that was talking about someone's wife, but I got hit in the fire, and that's cool. I took it like a man. That's it.
All that's fine, but we beyond that
We
now.
beyond that. We beyond that.
Let's
We
get into
beyond
the
that.
topic. Let's get into, so you ain't streamed in a while, so I know you got something good for us tonight.
Yeah, I got something good for you. I got something good for you. So today's topic is, as we all know, we're going to talk about the wrong reasons why people leave relationships.
Yeah, I was looking at, and it got me. I was like, oh shit, I don't know what but I know you do some good topics.
Right, and so we want to go off today and talk about why people are leaving, the wrong reasons why people leave relationships. There is no right reason. I believe our generation, because you say you're the last of the
Boomers, baby boomers.
the baby boomers.
Yeah, the
And
baby boomer ended in 1964. That was the year I was born, and then
right.
after that, I think is Gen X, then millennials, and then Gen Zs as
Right.
well.
And I believe your generation tends to hold on to relationships more.
Yeah.
And our generation tends to repeat. And Mr. Alex, you're always welcome to come up here. Give him the link if you can.
Yeah.
But
because he may not be a boomer, but he boomer adjacent.
yeah, he definitely. So what happens is he's boomer adjacent. But what happens is we want to talk about the people that don't value relationships,
Mm-hmm.
versus our generation who have microwave relationships and they leave. But I want to ask you, are these the right reasons to leave a relationship?
Okay. Well, we have to talk about what reasons they're leaving for.
Okay, so we're going to jump into that immediately. Let's talk about it. And we're going to talk about relationships first.
Mm-hmm.
All right. First reason, they say, we tend to believe we're in relationships that we deserve. How do you feel about that, Rico? Because you got to think about this.
As that they use that as a reason to leave.
Yes. No, the wrong reasons to leave.
Yeah, you right. So they'll use that as a reason to say I'm justified to leave because I thought I was in a relationship, an ideal relationship.
Right.
Well, first of all, let's caveat this. Are we talking relationships or are we talking marriages?
Two parts. So I'm doing relationships now.
Okay.
I will be doing marriages at the latter part of the show.
So this list is relationships only. No
relationship.
Okay. Now, I'm not gonna say I'm against that being a reason. because I'm all for, you know, doing all you can to try to, because when you get to marriage, I'm
Right.
like, I don't give a damn what the list is. Short of them trying to kill you, you don't leave it for the
Right.
most part.
Right.
But for a
But
relationship,
look at the mindset. Look at the mindset, Rico.
yeah,
Your mindset is different from ours.
right,
It's more. It says short of trying to kill you. Mine's is
yeah.
hold up. I know I could do better now.
Now, not
So
in my generation, you stay in a horrible marriage. I mean, because you believe, you know, we'll get to that part. But for that reason, I'm not necessarily a fan of it. I think if when I read that description, I think that's somebody who didn't vet the person before they decided, okay, we're going to be a monogamous one-on-one relationship. So
okay.
during the dating process, it's like, well, what do you mean you thought you was in an ideal relationship? What made you think this was the ideal person when you were dating her or him? So a lot of times people get enamored or smitten or tickled, and they confuse being in a period of oh, I'm smitten with, oh, they're so cute, they're so nice, and then they consider that they look past the person's flaws. So do I think that that's a good reason to leave anybody? No. But if you're going to end the relationship for that reason, then you need to ask yourself, why did you end up in a relationship with someone who wasn't ideal in the first place? What did you do
Right.
wrong to commit to someone like that? So and if they do that, I'm okay with it, because they shouldn't do it the next time and the third time. But if you see somebody doing it every time, every relationship, that same old petty reason, they're the
Mm-hmm.
problem. They're the problem.
Okay.
So yeah,
Second reason, the alternative is less than the ideal.
half
The
a loaf is better
alternative
than no
is less,
loaf.
and me, I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of women, I believe that I have encountered, tend to stay in relationships because that they can't get anybody better than the person that they with. And then we have something else too amongst men. We have something, a term that we say is cheaper to
To keep
keep
her.
her.
Right.
Right? So I definitely believe that people stay the wrong reasons to stay in a relationship. Once again, the wrong reasons to stay in a relationship is because you feel that you can't get better. Is that ultimately like settling?
I think, but I, you know, we all settle, whether we believe it or not. And here's the thing, right? So when I look at that, right, and we used to call that that's called the half a loaf is better than no loaf. So a woman will believe half a loaf of bread is better than no bread. So you don't get what you want, but then oftentimes I push back on it, and I'm like, maybe you got exactly what you deserve, and you can't. Maybe you're only a half a loaf woman or a half a loaf man, meaning not everybody wants the whole loaf, but you don't, as you say, you don't qualify for the whole loaf.
Right.
So you're gonna get rid of a half a loaf, and you're gonna end up with nothing because you don't qualify for a whole loaf. You're not that package that's going to attract what you want. You never will be. You
Damn.
maintain it, and these are hard conversations that sometimes we have to have with ourselves. People don't accept. I haven't heard anybody say, you know what? On a scale of 1 to 10, I know the best I deserve is probably a 5 or a 6.
Right.
But that is the best they deserve. They continue to want to believe they deserve a 7 or 8 because they're hoping somebody at a 7 or 8 is going to feel sorry for them and pity them.
Right.
I'm like, they're not. You only deserve a 5 or a 6. And
Damn,
that'll end up.
Rico, this is a hard conversation you
Yes.
have with people.
But they need to have with themselves. And that's what I always try to tell them is like, stop looking for red flags in other people and start looking for red flags in yourself.
How many people tell the truth to themselves, especially at a young
They
age?
don't. Shit, at an old age, we struggle with it. They don't.
Right.
That's why I say we're all a little bit delusional.
Right. So let me read what Alex, aka Frosty, says. He said, our generation, marriage was considered to stay through everything as well until it gets to a point where one or the other are being hurt in any way.
Right.
Right. Bob said, they say Rico can't talk because he currently don't go out or married to a black woman. Man, I called
bullshit.
He did what he was supposed to do. He raised the black family. Fuck what they talking about. Wow. That's what they saying about you. I like your expertise. I don't know.
That's what they say.
That's not what they say.
That's what they say. I got 5 black sons though, unambiguously, not mixed race, not anything. I got 5 strong, strapping black sons.
That's it. Hello. Love Boy Lensky says, partner in a relationship stays with a person that is toxic because of attachment. Partners fear being alone. Mm-hmm. You lose out on blessings in life if you don't branch out and seek a person you deserve.
That's a good point, Lover Boy. But what I want us to start thinking about is, how do you get into those toxic relationships in the first place? So if you're not in them in the first place, you don't miss out on your opportunity. So right. It's sort of like you incarcerate yourself because you want something. You want something. So I'm gonna handcuff myself to this person because I want something, because I don't want to be with nothing. I don't want to be alone. And then, right, your perfect person come along. If you'd have just kept your ass free, you'd have been good.
Truthful, it never favorite says, be what you want. Be what you're asking for. Be worthy of what you want.
Yeah.
Hashtag know yourself, know your worth.
I agree with that too, 100%.
Right. I do. Let's keep it spicy. Shout out to Lucky Marie in the room. Shout out to Mr. Real Estate, Mr. aka Mr. Magnificent. But let's keep it honest. In my generation, and I consider myself an adult at 42. People always feel, I don't know what it is, they feel like they could get better. They feel like they could get better. And when they feel that they can't get better because whether they don't have enough money for men or they might have gained weight for women, they say, hey, you know what, let me stick with him because if I leave him, I spent 10 years already, 15 years already. If I leave this man or this woman, I won't find anybody that's going to deal with me.
Okay, but here's the question. Do they feel like they can get better, or are they always hoping to get better? Because those are two different things. Because if you say you feel like it, then you have to believe within yourself. I know a lot of dudes and women know they ain't doing the work. Now, again, like I said, we always say that Disney princess thing. Oh, They're going to come by and sweep me off my feet. They know they ain't doing nothing to be, as Truth say, to be worthy. They just hoping that somebody going to come along and I'm going to throw this thing on them. And he going, he's gonna be that 8 or 9. He's gonna be that 7 or 8, even though I'm down here doing 4 and 5 work.
Right, but there's some women that's not leaving, Rico, because they saying I can't get better.
They can't, or they can.
They can't get better. That's why they're staying.
Yeah. In a lot of cases, they right.
Oh, shit.
And in some cases, because the bottom line is, I'm be honest with you, I think most of us most people do end up wherever you end up. I'm not saying everybody. If you with a 4, you with a 4. If you with a 9, you with a 9. Because 9s get 9s. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it real. We know that. It's unusual where 9s and 10s are walking around here with 3s and 4s. It's just there's
money. Money.
Right. Exactly. But that's an unusual thing. That's not the norm. That's the exception. So that's all I can say is that,
Okay, what about this? Look at the horror stories. Alex A.K. Frosty says, my second marriage was with a woman that was from your generation, King. She left, but realized I was the best man, tried to come back. So these are the horror stories.
That it happened to me.
They leave,
it
right?
It happened to me.
Hold on. They leave.
Uh-huh.
And they realize it's really not that sweet outside.
Yes.
And then other ladies say, younger women say, hey, hold up. Let me just stick with this. I don't like this guy. I don't really love him, but I'm going to stay because I don't want that to happen to me.
I put my second wife through nursing school. She got her degree. She left. About 5 years later, she tried to come back. I told her, you out your fucking mind. I thought I'll be with a man before I be with your ass again. Whoa. Because I don't do a revolving door shit because it was, it was so disrespectful. I was like, that's just
David, thank you.
So that's why I said to say it. You say people are afraid to leave. A lot of women, as Mr. Frosty said, they'll jump out there and then they realize, oh shit, I ain't this bad bitch that I thought I was, or this, that, or everything. I used to tell my ex-wife, I said, what you gonna find out the hard way is I'm the last motherfucking fool in the world for you. Nobody else is gonna do for you what I did for you.
Wait, hold on. But isn't that considered like kind of like brainwashing or emotional, like saying,
No,
hey,
that
you
was
can't
telling
get
her to
what
fucking do it.
if a lover tells you you can't get better than me, that's considered like not you. I'm not saying you, but if I said that to my girlfriend,
But you gotta know it's true. And I'm gonna put a song for you to put in your playlist. And Frosty probably know this. It's a man named Lou Rawls.
okay,
And look up Lou Rawls, and the song is called "You'll Never Find
you'll never
Another Love Like
find.
Mine." Yes,
Yes, I know that song.
I'm telling you. And it's like you're gonna keep searching and searching because you have to know. So again, you don't make that. If I'm a sorry ass dude, I ain't gonna make that statement.
Right.
Come on. But when I know, when there are things, and it was true. Look, her family, everybody was telling her. And yes, women do that a lot.
Lucky says, in regards to that reason, let me show you the reason again, so we're on the same page.
She can get another one to do it.
Lucky says, in regards to the alternative is less ideal. She's saying that if she got you to do it, she can get another one to do it. And here's the thing. Here's my question for you and Lucky or anybody that wants to answer this. Is that a game for
I like
older
blowing
women
my
to
hairline
play?
like my.
No, is that a game? Is that a game for older women? Is that a game for like Lucky can do it because Lucky's in her 20s? Do you think an older woman can even play that game? Honestly,
Hell no. And Lucky, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to speak out of terms that I don't 100% know. Lucky can do it in her 20s with a single child. When I met my second wife, she was in her 20s with 2 kids. Okay, so when you have to consider all the factors. So, okay, you 30. Okay, but you almost out of time, Lucky. You know they talk about that wall. I'm just fucking with you.
nah, ain't no.
But
Yeah, you
I
crazy.
know I don't believe in that shit.
Yeah,
But
you don't believe that. You don't believe that.
I don't believe in that shit. I've seen women in their 40s. I don't think any woman can do it. You have to know your position, your role, your standards.
Right.
And if they're not there, you're not going to get another one to do it. See, I did it, so again, like I said, me and Frosty will tell you, it doesn't work that way. And even some of the well-to-do, because dudes, and nowadays, dudes ain't trying to be no stepdaddies.
Right.
I was fine with it. My generation, we were okay with being stepdaddy. Most of us had a stepdaddy or things like that. But nowadays, these motherfuckers act like stepdaddy is HIV or some shit. So I just think that's just crazy.
Alex says, King, that's what she thinks in her mind. What she forgot was she aged in the current relationship, so the dating market changed entirely too much, so they lose.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the next one. This is good. We invested too much, and this is what I want to talk about. Is it wrong to stay in a relationship after you have dedicated, say, over 2 or 3, 4, over 5 years into it?
Yes. You're gonna hate me for this, King. And I'll say this. This is probably one of the first times with Mr. E Black that I agreed 100%. And was one of the things that he got clowned for tremendously. But when I first heard him say it, I was like, I agree with that. So I come from the standpoint where like I don't care about material things. So like when he made the statement, if I leave, my wife can have everything. I was like, that makes sense to me because my peace is more important to me than fighting over property. It doesn't.
Right, but I'm talking about time.
Like, I know, but that's what I'm sitting there saying is. So for me, if it gets to a point where it's so toxic, yeah, I might have put in 10 years, but what the fuck? I'm gonna give you another 10 years of toxicity?
Right.
Yeah, you. It's like if you're at a place, a breaking point, because the toxicity has gotten so high, why continue on if there's no effort to repair, to change? So you already know what's okay. So you're at year 10 and you've been dealing with this shit since year 5. You hoped it would change. So you spent 5 years watching it progressively either stay the same or get worse. What do you think the next 5 years is going to be?
Right.
You can say, hey, you know what? Let me cut the cancer out, and I may not never find anybody else again, but goddamn it, I can stop hurting. I just want to stop hurting. I want to stop being miserable. I want to stop being in a place where someone doesn't respect me.
Right.
I want to stop being in a sexless marriage. I want to stop being in this and that and so on and so forth. No, it doesn't have to get better. I just want the hurt to stop. So again, you're gonna look back and you be like, I wasted all them years. Yes, you will. You don't think I look back at my first and second marriage and think about the shit I wasted?
Right.
But I don't still wish I was fucking in them.
Right. But see, here's Frosty has a good point. Me personally, I don't think the time you invested or the money you invested should keep you in a relationship. I don't know what Ernest was saying, who you referred to as E Black. I remember.
Yeah, he was just talking.
I recall it, but I don't believe a word he says.
Okay, so, but I'm just saying the premise of I don't think you should sacrifice your mental sanity, stress, possibly end up dead from the stress. You know, bad love will kill your ass.
That's a fact.
About holding on to a fucking house or a car.
Right.
Like,
let's talk about what Frosty said. He says, Rico, it depends on if you have kids. The responsibility to me at that point are my kids. If no kids, deuces. We're gonna talk about that topic too, because we know that's one of the reasons why people do stay. So, and we want to see if that's healthy or not.
That's why I stayed with mine. I would have still been with her. She had to leave me.
Ooh.
Because of my kids. Because I'm that fucking stupid.
Oh,
I wasn't gonna leave.
Damn.
Exactly. What he said is 100%. But I also told her, thank God you left me because I never would have.
Damn.
That's the crazy part about it is I would have never left her, even though I was miserable as fuck.
Right.
Maybe after my kids got older, but they were younger. But since
and you know what's crazy? My generation doesn't care about like okay, the well-being of the kids. They're like, yo, listen, I'm not happy, and no one's happy. I'm out. Let's go to the next topic. Unwillingness to hurt the other person. Do you think people stay in relationships?
I don't think that don't make that. I wouldn't.
You don't want to hurt the next person. I know people that just don't want to leave because they don't want to hurt the next person.
Nah, then they don't. Then you ain't that miserable. I mean, because that would be the least of my concern. You ain't that miserable if that's because you're willing to be hurt by the person, but you're not willing to. And I'm not saying that I never intentionally wanted to hurt them, but if they were hurting me, it's like, all right, fuck it, this shit just ain't working. So we'll fall out, die, cry, whatever, and we'll move on. But I'm not gonna stick around and continue to be hurt, and that be the reason why I'm not. Right. That I won't do. So that one's a bit of a reach for me.
Well, I think women do it more so than men. They don't want to hurt the man's feeling. That's why they stay.
But the guy dogging her ass out 24/7, cheating, running the street and everything else, then they crazy. Damn. They crazy. If that's the reason. Other reasons like children, I get. But come on, the guy's dogging.
Well, Truth said that's the main one. Number 4 is the main one. That's the main one.
I don't know about that.
Number 5, we don't know how to be emotionally independent.
That ain't never been my problem.
But
I think there are some people.
So do you feel that when you do get married, you begin to have a network, a tribe, or a community of people that you go to when you are stressed, you have anxiety, or you have issues? When you don't want to leave that person because then you lose that punching bag, that listening ear. You don't want to lose that person.
No, because my thing is, I grew up in an era where people were emotionally independent in the first place. So, like I said, my generation, you had a lot of marriages, 20, 30 years, and these motherfuckers weren't even emotionally attached. They were emotionally independent in the marriage for 20, 30 years. They barely even talked to each other. They stayed married. So those were a lot of the marriages I saw. You didn't see, or I didn't see, a bunch. Like now, you'll see people always all this PDA, public displays of affection.
Right.
When I was coming up, no, you didn't see that a lot.
Right.
You know, I mean, like it would be Bob to get out the car. He might, you know, they would be courtesies, but you didn't see a lot of PDA because it was not considered proper or whatever. So
Right.
I was like, hell, you would see a husband and wife. You'd be lucky if you ever see them kiss.
Right.
Because people just didn't express
I have
affection
listen.
openly like
My
that.
parents been married for over 50 years. I have never seen them kiss.
That's what I'm saying. They just didn't do it.
Right.
So even though you know they may be happy or unhappy, they're both independent, very much so. And that's why I like it when you describe the way of how your you know your father didn't talk much, but your mother was really running things.
Right.
She couldn't be emotionally dependent to do
Right.
that, to be effective at it. So I but I guess there are some people that are just like that who are they call them clingy.
Right. Frosty says alpha men are more analytical to the relationship of being the provider slash protector. Women were the emotionally involved more so. Generation X.
So yeah, I mean I'll accept it, but it's just a reach for me to understand that.
Right. All right. Let's go to the next
This
one.
is number one.
People stay together for kids.
This is number one.
That's number one.
That's number one, hands down.
But that's weird because how is that number one when they clearly said that we have broken homes and all this other stuff? And,
Oh well,
right.
I still, but see here, I still do think and I don't have any.
You breaking up. You breaking up.
I still think. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Still breaking up?
No, you good.
Okay. I still think that's the number one reason why I think, you know, even though I'll still tell a guy, okay, well, still you had the responsibility to use protection and to protect yourself. I still think that's the number one reason why a lot of women in our community will still have a child in hopes of maintaining a relationship.
Okay.
That is going to foster and cement it. So 100% for the woman, maybe not as much for the men, but 100%, you know, the girl be like, oh yeah, you know, the saying, oh, she think having a baby gonna keep a man. That's been going on forever. And I do think that yes, even in this Gen Z, they still do that shit.
Right.
They still think if I have this baby, he my baby daddy, I get some kind of title. They don't even think they even thinking about wife. They just be thinking about I get ownership of the guy some way. And it seems to be that's the one thought process to me. It looks like it crosses all socioeconomic levels. So people like to think that that's strictly the little ghetto women. And I'm like, yeah, they do it. But I'm like, no, I know some women with some college degrees and some PhDs that still be thinking that same emotional state where we got a baby together. So it's more important. And you know, the second girl to have a baby, and then the next one, and they just like they I'm like, these motherfuckers having babies competing. This is crazy.
Right.
So that is to me clearly number one.
The reason why people stay in relationships, the worst reasons. All right. So once again, do you think a two-parent unhappy household is better than a single-parent happy household?
Yes, a two-parent household is better.
No. Listen, a two-parent unhappy household, is it better than a single-parent happy household?
No.
Some people, so let's go back. Let me play devil's advocate.
No.
Some people say I'd rather have a two-parent household because at least even though my parents are arguing constantly, at least I have a model of a man and a woman. That's a
horrible fucking model.
Oh wow.
That's a horrible model to have two parents bickering and fighting. The only advantage I would say out of the two-parent household is obviously you got more resources to raise the child.
Right.
I can't deny that. But for all the other reasons, the toxicity, I mean, even before, like you said, it was horrible for my kids when me and my second wife was splitting up because we were fighting. It wasn't just like one day. It was like a 2-year process. And for 2 years, it was just fucking war every day. My kids were not happy that we split up, but they wasn't wildly upset about it. They was happy we wasn't fucking fighting anymore.
Right.
And I was like, this is the only way we ain't gonna fight. We can't be in the same space. We don't get along.
Right. Okay. Next one. So we already know the kids should be number one, but I also don't think you should stay there for kids. But here's the problem with that. I am a big component of children having both parents in the household, in the same household. But if that can't work, then I totally understand. But we want to be a little bit mindful of the fact that having more resources financially helps a lot when it comes to child development.
But if you can't do it without destroying the children's emotional growth, mental, stability, fear, physical, it's not worth it.
I mean, okay, let me talk to you then to keep this. So you can have a healthy household, but people do have arguments. Your children are going to see the parents argue.
If the police come into the house, it's unhealthy.
Yes, I agree. All right.
I mean,
But what about the argument? Children are going to see their parents argue.
Yeah, sometime periodically, but that should not be a daily occurrence.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
but what about children seeing their mothers not sleeping in the same room as their fathers?
I mean, they could possibly rationalize that, but after a while, they would figure out something's going on. They would figure out that they're not happy. It's preferable for them to see the mother and the father in a loving, committed relationship. However, we know reality is reality. So I think that over a period of time, if they're constantly seeing the parents arguing, bickering, fighting, saying that, even if it's not even physical, calling each other names, because that's the first thing you got to realize. It starts verbal. Fuck you, you know what I'm saying? And then somebody might start running the streets and their behaviors and things like that, and not doing the normal thing, especially if they see you go from a balanced, loving marriage to an unbalanced. So, when you first got together and I was little, y'all never fought for the first 5 years. The last 2 years, you motherfuckers fight every day. I know the difference.
Yeah, okay. Before we move on to the next topic, I want to let's keep it 100% real. There are different points of relationship, and particularly relationship, because we're saying relationship now, not marriage. We keep on going back and forth. But there's different parts of relationship and marriage where you have the honeymoon, everything is going good, and then you have that 1 or 2 years like I hate you, and then it goes back. So do you consider that a toxic relationship that child should be into? Because that happens, right? Sometimes you got 6 months of everything is smooth, and you got 2 months of yo, I can't stand this person.
That is toxic. That's toxic in its own way. I mean, it's good, obviously, if you can.
And that's what women are saying. It's like, oh men, when it's good, and when it's bad, it's bad.
If you can repair the relationship, that's great. But it still doesn't mean it's not toxic, because, and I understand too that, every relationship has valleys and mountains. Like they say, you have your highs and you have your lows. It's to what degree?
Right.
Because you have to understand that it's not always going to be sunshine and roses. Right. But to what degree is it when you kind of get to the point? And that's why I'm glad, like right now, my wife mad at me now. She mad at me now. But we don't get into the name calling.
Right.
And that's what I was going through in my previous.
The respect is there.
Yeah, the respect is still there. She'll be mad at me about things. I'll be mad at her about things. But I don't do the name calling stuff. We don't do the, she'll raise her voice. I'll raise mine, and I slept on the couch. Fuck it, whatever. Because we're both being stubborn.
Right.
But we're not gonna call each other out of each other's names or anything of that degree. And that's after 10 years. And I'm surprised because in my previous marriage, hell, I don't think we got the year 2 before I was called a son of a bitch or this, that, or whatever else. Because some women, they're hot tempered. First thing come to their mind, no matter if it's the first time or the second time, they're gonna say what's on their mind, and it's gonna come out. And that was on me for not vetting better.
Right.
But now I'm in it with this blended family bullshit.
Right.
And I'm like, so I'm on the whole I gotta make it work thing.
Right.
And that didn't make it better. It just got worse over time.
Right.
It just did. But that I look back at myself, I'm like, that's my fault. I was a fucking idiot.
Right. Well, you took accountability for that.
Yeah, you have 7. It'll get better. No,
it will get better. And this is what I'm trying to say. We all go through that.
Yes.
Okay. Here's the question that we all need to know. What is the time limit for to say, hey, no, motherfucker, it's not going to get better?
See, that's a case by case. And I don't say case. When I say case by case, is you got to ask yourself,
Right.
what's your breaking point? What's your how much bandwidth do you have to try to work something out?
Right.
And if first, I guess at first it's gonna start with everybody's gonna go and say, okay, let's assign blame. Is this my fault? Is this her fault?
Right.
How much of it is my fault? How much? If 90% of it is my fault, okay, I'm gonna have a long rope.
Mm-hmm.
If 95% of it is her fault, oh, she better fix this shit by tomorrow.
Right.
Because I ain't doing nothing or very, very little. Depends on what the argument is. One of the most common arguments is I think it's probably around like infidelity.
Right.
You know, if you get accused of cheating, you know, because a lot of people, you know, they put themselves in fucked up spaces where they're too friendly with the opposite sex, and you know, your partner may get justifiably jealous or insecure about the situation,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes we don't want to accept that or believe it because we like the attention that we got. But if you're if you're doing something wrong, you're gonna be like, oh, I'll understand. But if you're not doing something wrong and you're being accused, you'll tend to be a little bit more indignant about it. You know,
Right.
you don't want to accept how dare you
You're
this, that,
breaking up.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I seen guys with, oh, I'm sorry. I seen guys that would take that same position about being accused, but will turn around and will accuse a woman to the highest heavens. I'm sorry, in the same way.
Right.
You know, so what I always try to tell people is be mindful, have the same patience for
Mm-hmm.
your person, have the same patience for your mate that you would want them to have for you. So if you're not going to have no patience for them, then expect they won't have none for you.
Right.
If you want them to be patient and understanding,
Right.
then you better be the same way.
Well, so it will get better. Is that a farce, or is that something that people should hold true in a relationship?
It will get better only if both people work to make it get better. It will not get better on its own. Most people want to sit on their hands and hope it will get better. But for it to get better, for it to stand a chance to get better, it takes work on both parties.
Okay.
Both people have to give in, humble themselves, and say, okay, baby, let's work to make it better. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm this. But if nobody's not willing to do that, fuck no, it ain't getting better.
So it's not so it's not a reason to stay unless both parties are working.
Unless both parties are working.
Number 8, relationship failure is embarrassing.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is.
I think as men we go through this more, and I don't want to talk about marriage, but in relationship, women feel it more. In marriage, we feel it. When we have a failed marriage, I think men feel it. But when there's a failed relationship, women feel it. Because when women have a failed relationship, you can't keep a man. When men have a failed marriage, it's like, wow, you lost.
100% spot on. For me, it never affected me in a relationship, but it did. Like, that's why I stayed in the second one so long. Because after the first one, I was just adamant. I was like, I didn't care how disrespectful, how unhappy I was. I was like, I can't go through this shit again.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I can't. And I never told her that, but I don't know if she sensed it or knew it, because that shit is, it makes you, in essence, I felt like a fucking failure. Mm-hmm. I felt like a failure as a person. A second divorce. I felt like a complete, utter, total failure in everything. And I was kicking myself in the ass all this, like, how the fuck could I do this? How could, I probably should have, I knew I should have never married her. But once I did, I was insistent that's why no matter how miserable I was, I would have never left her. Right. I would have never left her. But I danced all the time when she left me. I was like, free! I would have never done it. I would have never done it.
You didn't realize it until
Yeah. And I
all
was
right.
still and I was still hurt she left me. That's what's crazy.
You
Right?
say you were still hurt?
I was still hurt and mad that she left me.
I mean, yeah, because it's like
crazy.
I said, it's that emotional dependency.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was that emotional dependency.
I was still hurt she left me, knowing I was miserable. I was happy later, but it's like, so why the fuck was you upset when she left?
Mm-hmm. Terry says, as Chris Rock says, relationship is hard when only one person is working on it.
And that's a fact.
Right. So let's let me see. Now let me add this. There is no such thing as a successful relationship.
That I don't believe in. I believe
they're saying this because that's a reason to keep people in a relationship. No one's perfect. So why would you go out there when there's no such thing as a successful relationship? So you should just stay here.
I think that's a cop-out.
The grass is greener on the other side of the fence.
That's just a cop-out. There's a difference between saying there's no such thing as a perfect relationship, but that's just a cop-out to say successful. Because I'm like, even the best relationships have problems, ups and downs. The best business relationship has problems, ups and downs. You know, best friendships have problems, ups and downs. So there is no perfect relationship.
Right.
Yes. But that's a fucking cop-out to say there's no successful, because a relationship that's 95% functioning and healthy has 5% of struggle, and yours is 5% healthy and 95% struggle. Those are two different things. Neither one is 100%, but one is wildly more successful than the other one.
Right.
So that's a cop-out. No, there's no such thing as a perfect, meaning without any struggles.
Okay.
That's it.
I have to agree with you on that one. Definitely have to agree. The other one is we don't want to admit to the mistake of a bad relationship. So we rather stay in a relationship to give the public perception that we're in a relationship that actually means something.
Again, I think that's that half a loaf is better than no loaf.
Right.
Yeah, some people I guess are embarrassed by the concept of it. Relationships for me, it never bothered me that much.
Right.
You know, because that's boyfriend, girlfriend. And I come from the old school, so if it was a girlfriend and she got pregnant, okay, we got to get married.
Right.
So any of my girlfriends that I got pregnant became my wife, because I didn't. That was just the generation I came from, shotgun weddings and all that shit. Nobody did a shotgun wedding, but it was just like, okay, you went out there and you impregnated somebody, be a man up, so on and so forth. I don't suggest that that's the best reason why to do it. That's why I don't beat my youngest son up about it. But I tell him, you're going to take care of your fucking kids.
Damn sure will.
That's it.
Damn sure will. Let's go. Let's speed through the 7 reasons. I like to keep my shows within an hour and 15 minutes. 7 reasons to stay in a marriage, which are wrong reasons at that. Staying together for the sake of your children. We agree that it might not be healthy, but that is one of the only legitimate reasons to stay in a relationship. Is that right?
Yes, I would say for that one, yes, 100%. Because if you love your kids, you'll make all the sacrifices in the world for them.
Right. I have women that live with men because they didn't love the men, but they needed a man in the household and it would help raise their kid and stuff like that. It was just what it is. Number 2, staying married for financial security because it's a less expensive option. It's cheaper to keep her.
Cheaper to keep her. That's but that's just.
It is cheaper to keep her though.
It is. I mean, it is. I can't argue that.
Man, this dating game, Rico, boy. Sometimes I wish I wasn't single because I save so much money.
I would say this. To what degree of unhappiness you are. If you at 20-30% unhappy, yeah, fucking stick it. But if you at 90% unhappy, oh no, fuck it. It's not cheaper if you 90% unhappy, because you're gonna be out there in the street spending money anyway. Because you're gonna have to find your happiness somewhere else.
You're gonna be drinking, gambling, all types of shit.
The women on the side and everything else.
All types of shit.
You see what I'm saying? So
yeah, I agree with that. Number 3, staying married to honor your wedding vow.
No.
You know, it's a lot of Christians that say this is a sanctuary that we can't break, and they be unhappy because they don't want to be with that particular woman at all. They don't, but they stick because they believe they made that vow under God.
I mean, honestly, I totally can respect it 1,000% if
Chris,
that's your religious beliefs. Absolutely, I believe.
why is that? Why is that? But that's not healthy though. That's like
No, I don't think it's healthy. I mean, hopefully, I would say this is um, make sure you're married to a Christian man or a Jewish man or someone. Make sure you, if that's the case, if your vows are that important, you make sure you marry somebody who shares that same depth of commitment to your vows.
right,
And then you stand a better chance. But if you marry a street dude like me who ain't got no religious background, like, come on, I don't think about that. So you know what I'm saying? You in a one-man fight.
right,
You fighting to keep something by yourself.
right.
And that other person don't give a damn about them vows.
Um,
So
Number 4, staying together out of guilt.
guilt for what?
I mean, people stay together out of guilt. Like, I got you in this situation. I gave you children. I feel bad if I leave you because then who's going to be with you? Oh,
Okay, so
you married me and you forgot about your professional career goals. So now I feel guilty. So I want to stay in a relationship. You know, people have those types of guilt. Rico?
I guess I've seen I've usually seen that where a woman pushed that on a man. You
Ooh,
know what I'm saying? I've seen that where she'll try to make him feel guilty. And the funny thing about it is, I see that a lot of times with white women.
right,
White women will guilt the shit out their husband if he talk about leaving her for the
right,
younger secretary. I work in these law firms and they'll guilt the shit out of him. I'm gonna go tell everybody,
right,
and they don't like the public embarrassment. So I see
right.
that a lot in that community. So yeah, it's a real thing, but
That's
ain't nothing my
because they
problem.
know when marriage in corporate America is a
Yes,
symbol of stability. And if
yes.
you're not married, it looks like, yo, if you how you expect to run a company if you can't hold your family together. Um, Number 5, stay married because you're afraid of disappointing your family and friends.
That's just
People do stay in marriages because of that.
no. Uh, uh, I don't like my family or friends that much. So
That's
y'all motherfuckers ain't gonna never weigh that heavy on my
right,
dick.
right. That's how I feel as
I'm
well.
sorry.
I feel the same way. Number 6, stay in your marriage to keep up appearances.
I've seen people do that, and that even goes all the way
But
back to
that's but I can understand if you have a relationship and say, listen, we are good partners, we look good together.
mm,
You could do what you and I could do me,
yeah,
but let's stay married.
yeah. And
I've seen that.
that's one that's old. That goes all the way back to boomer generation and before.
Right,
Like I said, people were not, a third or chick. I could say almost a half of those marriages. Like I said, they were routinely sleeping in separate bedrooms, and
mm-hmm.
she got a boyfriend, he got a girlfriend. But they had to keep up the agreement. It was important for a woman to be a wife, and it was important for a man to be a husband. That's appearances and nothing more.
That's a fact.
So
Number 6, stay in your marriage to keep up appearances. Um, we talked about that, and we basically said um, it started from your era, your generation.
no, it
But
started
now,
even before then. That's how long
even before, but even now, it's more so not about the appearance to the community, right? But
Mhm.
now it's about the appearance to social media. Let's be
Yeah.
together because if we break up, we both gonna look bad. And
Hmm.
they care about what people that they don't see. At least your generation cared about what people you knew about thought.
Hmm.
Our generation cares about people that don't even know our names,
Yeah.
and that's sick to me, in my opinion.
That
Um,
is crazy.
yeah. Number 7, last one: staying together to maintain shared friendships and relationships with your in-laws.
No way in hell. I'm sorry. That
So,
just
so when you broke up, the
Mhm.
in-laws didn't feel a certain way. They had to choose sides and yada yada
um
yada.
some did, most didn't.
Right.
Some did. You're always
Are you
gonna
still
have
friends
that.
with the in-laws?
I am with my second wife. Yes, I'm very close to them.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, like I said, even when we divorced,
Mm-hmm.
I ended up with not only my kids, I ended up with kids she had before we got married,
Right.
living with me. So, and the funny thing about it was when this is a crazy shit. And this is a real story, King. When my second wife left, before she left, she had moved her mother into our house.
Oh.
So I had to renovated my basement into like a mother-in-law apartment.
Mm-hmm.
When she left, her mother didn't want to go with her.
What?
For a year after she left, her mother continued to live with me.
How did you? That's why it was hard for you to get over her. Then I can see why.
No, it wasn't. It was the fact that I couldn't kick her mother out. Her mother was elderly, you know.
Well, how did she explain that though?
She couldn't explain it.
So how did you manage to get her out?
Eventually, her sister got her into an elderly community, housing. Wow. Right. So she was like, Rico, I'm trying to get her. She's on the list, and I don't want to move her back with me. Can she stay there with you until we got her on the list? It'll be coming up soon. I said, yeah, it's fine, Pat. You can stay here with me, whatever. I'm not going to kick your mother out. Your sister done left,
you got a good heart.
Yeah, just like, I'm like, come on. I'm trying to be a decent fucking person. Her mother was in her 80s.
And so, and let me just throw this out.
So that's what kind of kept the bond between me and her sister.
So when you talk, this is funny because when you talk about protecting Black women and really caring about them, going out your way to care about women, Black women, this is what I'm saying. This is why
that was my Black ex-wife and her Black mother. Right. And but motherfuckers want to sit there and tank. Like I said, I put my reputation against anybody. Fuck them.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I had no problem with that.
It's the same people that
I get my sister-in-law to come here, and she was sitting, and she was like, "Yes, that's true."
Right.
So but I did that. I had completely forgotten all about that because to me, it just wasn't wildly that unusual to me to do that. That was just like the right thing to do.
Right.
It just was. It's like. It's not what I wanted, but it's like, come on, I'm not going to put her out. Because at the time, I was married. My wife was like, oh, my mama, because her husband had died and she living by herself. And we always said that if my mother got old or her mother got old, we had bought this new house. We always said when we had always made an agreement that if our mothers got old, we would take them in. Well, her mother obviously got old first, and my mother was still living independent at that time. And I was like, okay, well, that's what we agreed on, then let's do it. So, the basement was unfinished. So I just paid all this money and did all this work and just like, okay, I got to turn this whole basement into an apartment for her. And I did. And about a year later, she decided I'm out. And I'm like, what about your mother? She don't want to go. I'm like, okay. And her mother did love me like a son, but I was like, I'm not your son though. So, and I'm like, okay, and she had one sister who had a house that had she had lived with before, and she had like 3 other brothers, but it was like nobody wanted the burden. My ex-wife had volunteered for this shit, but then bailed out on the job.
Right.
I got left holding the bag. But I mean, I'll be honest with you, I didn't other than the fact that, like, hey, I was taking care of somebody else's mother, my ex-wife who had left. I was like, you know what? I guess that makes me simp of the year. But I was like,
no, you're not a simp. I mean, you're not a simp.
I saw an elderly Black woman that I was not going to throw out on the fucking street.
Right. I think it was anybody, whether you were in a relationship or in-laws, you would have did that.
Exactly. Right. I was not going to throw an 80-something-year-old Black woman out on the fucking street for no reason. And then, of course, her sister continued to support me, this, that, whatever. But I'm like, I still had to come home. I still had to get her medications. I still had to do this just as if it was my mother. No different.
Okay. We want to say, Rico, thank you for today. We appreciate you coming up. Any parting words in regards to reasons why you should not stay in a relationship?
No, I think
no marriage.
Great conversation. Thank you for inviting me up, asking my opinion and thoughts. I knew you'd come out with the stats and the facts, and you did, like you always do.
Right.
I think you covered all of them, even some that I didn't think about for a minute. Good topic. I'm glad to come up here and chop it up with you, and be happy to come up here and talk about talk about this topic or anything else that I can lend any voice to anytime. And thanks to Brother Frosty being over here now.
Yeah, Frosty was good.
to my boomer adjacent brother.
Boomer adjacent. So is there one thing you could give at one thing you could give, like just one advice to particularly young men in regards to this is why you should this is not a good reason to leave or stay in a relationship either.
Well, again, like I said, relationships I'm not going to touch on because I think that's a case by case basis. But for marriages, I think, they have to take it very seriously. You can't be just leaving a marriage at the first time of struggle or strife or problems, concerns, or issues. There are much bigger things to take into consideration and you should be thinking about. And, I think that, for a marriage and even relationships, if you take the time to vet properly or more like you're supposed to, I'll say what I always say to most young men: look for the red flags in yourself. If you look for the red flags within you, you can avoid a lot of the problems later on in life, especially with a marriage, because a marriage is so serious. So you shouldn't be out there willing or wanting to get married at the first sign of a pretty young thing, or somebody that's just, throwing it the way you like it and thinking that's good enough. Take serious.
You're breaking up.
Time. Think about what you want to do. Oh, take serious time. Think about what you want to do, what you want in the long run, and know that marriage is supposed to be for life. Short of death, you're not supposed to want to. They say, what is the vows? To have and to hold, in sickness and health. For richer, for poorer. That's what marriage is. Listen to your vows. I think people just repeat them. I'm like, listen to what the fuck it's saying. Short of death, you to honor and love that woman.
I mean, it feels good until you go do it.
Then don't do it. If you're not going to, and again, like I said, I'm not religious, but I'm just sitting there saying, if you're not going to at least take it serious, don't do it. And everybody's not meant to be married. That's okay.
Maybe.
It don't mean nothing wrong with you. You can still have a family. Do it. Y'all doing everything else new age. Shit. Have kids, move on.
That's it.
Not leave your kids, but I mean like continue
to move on. Right.
That's it. Love and honor your kids. But yeah, thank you for the conversation. I loved it.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah. I'm packing for Thursday. I'm on a flight. Back to the
in
island.
real life, you're living a great life. Enjoy the trip, well-deserved trip. Please.
I'll send you some pictures.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Peace.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Well, that's the end of the conversation with Kings. Hopefully, Rico gave you some knowledge and some wisdom in regards to reasons why you shouldn't stay or you should stay in a marriage or relationship. These are the shows that I'm going to be producing. I just want to keep everything peaceful. I don't want any problems on the YouTube streets. But I'm not going to back away from them either. So once again, you stay on your side, I stay on mine. I will continue to produce content. And I'm still loving the way Mr. Real Estate is growing and he's doing his thing. And we'll see. Time will tell how everything plays out. And don't be surprised if I turn up pretty soon and take this a little bit more serious. But I'm having fun. This is a great way for me to relieve my stress and anxiety. And this is therapy for me, and I appreciate it. And when I say therapy, not that I need it because I have my own therapist, but this is therapy. It's kind of like something I love to do. Play the music, have a conversation with people that really want to learn and grow, and I appreciate all of you. So now I'm about to cut this off and go outside and enjoy my real life. Until then, see you later. It's Conversation with King. Peace.